Buenos días, Excelencias.
Good morning, Excellencies, distinguished member states, colleagues. I'm María Romero. I belong to the European Network and Civil Society. Thank you for this opportunity to address you.
To English. What is at stake is the ability of the international community to transform a global system that is currently not working for people and the planet. As it was mentioned earlier in this room, the next year will be 5 years away from reaching the 2030 milestone, and the world is still facing multiple crises: debt, inequalities, the climate crisis. It is an historical opportunity. FfD4 should be about systemic reforms to correct historical imbalances. The reaction of the Civil Society FfD Mechanism to the Elements paper argues that the document meets concrete proposals to establish UN intergovernmental processes, legal frameworks, norms and standards on financing for development. Nice words do not help unless there are concrete, actionable intergovernmental processes to turn them into concrete progress. 3 key remarks. Firstly, FfD4 should agree on broadening the normative role of the UN in international development cooperation, agreeing on a UN Convention on International Development Cooperation. We are encouraged by the inclusion of a section entitled Reform the Global Architecture, yet the proposals under this heading do not match its ambition. They restate the status quo, which is not democratic, weak on representation, and outdated. There are welcome references in this section of the element paper, but they should be operationalized through the convention that I referred before. FfD should not be a place to restate unmet commitments on official development assistance. Secondly, there is a need to rethink and transform the international financial architecture for development. Specifically, there is a need to agree on a UN intergovernmental process to address the whole ecosystem of institutions to better cater for the needs of financing on the basis of an agenda focused on socio-economic transformation, the fight against inequalities, and the right to development. FfD4 should be a place to reclaim the role of the UN as global norm setter on global economic governance. FfD4 should not endorse decisions taken by a small group of countries elsewhere. Thirdly, the section on private finance is very weak. It does not reflect the need for a transformative approach. The proposals show an over-reliance on private capital mobilization, which deepens existing strategies that have not delivered on commitment made in 2015. Millions in public finance won't deliver the trillions needed for development and climate goals, and private finance will not deliver for the least developed countries. There is a need to restore state capacity to regulate in the public interest, and FfD4 should provide the right framework and processes for that. The Elements paper includes a reference to a global regulatory framework for the asset management industry. FfD4 should go one step further, establishing a UN global regulatory framework to adequately regulate and supervise the asset management industry. FfD4 should not be a place to further elevate the power of private investors. Civil society remains open and very keen on actively engaging in this process. Thank you very much for your attention.